reading today, I think it's Shivani Mataji, right?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
Can
whenever
I
you.
start, Prabhu?
Yeah, sure, Mataji.
Oh. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All Gurus to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवते सेवया भगवते उत्तमाश्लोके भक्तिर्भक्ति नष्टिकी. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 16. King Chitraketu meets the Supreme Lord, verse 46 till 55. Text 46. O unlimited Supreme Personality of Godhead, whatever a living entity does in this material world is well known to you because you are the Supreme Super Soul. In the presence of the sun, there is nothing to be revealed by the light of the glow bomb. Similarly, because you know everything in your presence, there is nothing for me to make known. Text 47. My dear Lord, you are the creator, maintainer, and annihilator of this cosmic manifestation. But persons who are too materialistic and who always see separateness do not have eyes with which to see you. They cannot understand your real position and therefore they conclude that the cosmic manifestation is independent of your opulence. My Lord, you are the supreme pure and you are full in all six opulences. Therefore, I offer my respect obeisances unto you. Text 48. My dear Lord, it is after you endeavor that Lord Brahma, Indra, and the other directors of cosmic manifestation become occupied with their activities. It is after you perceive the material energy, my Lord, that the senses begin to perceive. The Supreme Personality of Godhead holds all the universes on his heads like seeds of mustard. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, that Supreme Personality who has thousands of hoods. Text 49. Sukdev Goswami continued, the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Anant Deva, being very much pleased with the prayers offered by Chitraketu, the king of Vidyaras, replied to him as follows: O best of Kuru dynasty, Maharaja Parikshit. Text 50. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Anantadev, replied as follows: O King, as a result of your having accepted the instructions spoken about me by the great sages Narda and Angira, you have become completely aware of transcendental knowledge because you are now educated in the spiritual science. You have seen me face to face, therefore, you are now completely perfect. Text 51. All living entities, moving and non moving, are my expansion and are separate from me. I am the supreme soul of all the living beings who exist because I manifest them. I am the form of transcendental vibration like Omkara and Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, and I am the supreme absolute truth. These two forms of mind, namely the transcendental sound and the externally blissful spiritual form of the deity, are my eternal forms. They are not material. Text 52. In this world of matter, which the conditioned soul accepts as consisting of enjoyable resources, the conditioned soul expands, thinking that he is the enjoyer of the material world. Similarly, the material world expands in the living entity as a source of enjoyment. In this way, they both expand because they are my energies, they are both pervaded by me. As the Supreme Lord, I am the cause of these effects, and one should know that both of them rest in me. Text 53 and 54. When a person deep sleep, he dreams and sees in himself many other objects, such as great mountains and rivers, and or perhaps even the entire universe, although they are far away. Sometimes, when one awakens from the dream, he sees that he is in a human form, lying in his bed in one place. Then he sees himself in terms of various conditions as belongings to a particular nationality, family, and so on. All the conditions of deep sleep, dreaming, and wakefulness are being energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should always remember the original creator of these conditions, the Supreme Lord, who is unaffected by them. Text 55. Know me to be the Supreme Brahman, the all pervading super soul through whom the sleeping living entity can understand his dreaming condition and his happiness beyond the activities of the material senses. That is to say, I am the cause of activities of the sleeping living being. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Shivan Mataji. Hare Krishna. Krishna Prabhu, whenever you're ready, you can start, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Thank you very much, Shivani Mataji, for reading today's Bhagavatam section slokas translations. Thank you all for joining. We'll start with prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschapta Deshatarane. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 16, title King Chitraketu meets the Supreme Lord. So we are in the section of the Chitraketu Maharaj. So Chitraketu Maharaj had no sons but millions of wives, and by the grace of Angira Muni, so he received one son from his first wife Krutadyuti, but since he got the child after a long time, and he was so much affectionate, and he's spending all the time with his first wife and giving importance to her and neglected the other wives. And due to that, the other wives became envious, and they poisoned the child, and then they killed him. And due to that, Chitraketu Maharaj became in very lamentation. It is an excessive lamentation at that time. Angira Muni and Narada Muni appeared him there, and they preached Krishna consciousness to relieve from his lamentation. So not only that, so they also, Narada Muni also, through his mystic power, brought the living entity who left the body to re-enter into the dead body. So then through the living entity, so Chitraketu Maharaj also got enlightened. So and the living entity who left the body preached, saying that the living entity is eternal. There is no birth and death for him. And because we are identifying with this body, we are going through the sometimes happiness and sometimes just distress like that. So after hearing the instructions from their dead child, so Chitraketu Maharaj and his wife relieved from the lamentation and could understand that all relationships in this material world only brings misery only. Not only that, the other queens so who poisoned the child and killed him, so they are also very much ashamed, and they performed the atonement for their sinful activity and also gave up their aspiration to have sons. And then Narada Muni gave the mantras to Chitraketu Maharaj to practice Krishna consciousness, so that he can be able to see the Supreme Lord in 1 week like that. So following the instructions of Narada Muni, Chitraketu Maharaj performed sadhana sincerely and seriously according to the directions of the Chitraketu Maharaj and Narada Muni and Angira. So he was able to see the Supreme Lord Sankarsana face to face. And then he started offering wonderful prayers. So in the last section, we also heard from His Grace Vansivadana Prabhu how beautifully Chitraketu Maharaj offered the wonderful prayers to Lord Sankarsana. So we'll continue those prayers and from the 46th sloka onwards. So in the 46th sloka, we see that Chitraketu Maharaj is praying that so whatever the living entity does in this material world is known to Krishna, because he is residing in our body as a super soul. So an analogy is given: in the presence of sun, there is nothing to be revealed by the light of a glowworm. So because similarly, Krishna knows everything, there is nothing for Chitraketu Maharaj to make him known. So this is nice analogy, like this tiny glowworm called Kadhyotati, the fireflies. So the light that brings, so there is nothing in front of the powerful sun. So similarly, Krishna being situated in everyone's body as a super soul. So Hruddesha Arjuna Tistati. So Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hruddesha Arjuna Tistati. So he knows each and everything what is going on in our mind, or what we are thinking, what we are doing, and everything. So there's nothing for us to tell to Krishna. So he knows everything. So in Bhagavad Gita also Krishna mentions that Kshetragnam chapi vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. So he says that sarva kshetreshu. So I am also the knower in all bodies. So we may know little bit of our own body. Even though we are in this body, we know only some little bit only. But Krishna knows everything, not only what's going on in our body, what we are thinking, but also he knows in all other living entities' bodies what's going on. So so one should not be thinking that no one was watching me, like I can do whatever the activities that I can do, like that. No, we are under 24/7 watching, like under a camera recording, like that. So one time, this our great acharya in our parampara, Vyasatirtha, so he gave a banana to all his disciples and asked them to eat without anyone seeing. And all of them came back, and all of them except one devotee, they mentioned that they fulfilled their guru's instructions, saying that they ate the banana. And somebody said that they went backside of the altar and ate the banana, or somebody said that they dipped into the river and then ate, or somebody said that they went into the mountain in a cave and ate, like that. But this great devotee Kanakadas, he returned the banana saying that I could not able to fulfill your instruction or direction, because wherever I go, I tried all these things, but wherever I go, I see Krishna. So that's why I could not able to eat the banana without seeing by anyone. So Vyasatirtha appreciated this deep devotion and this understanding that Krishna is everywhere. And of course, he arranged this pastime so that to show the Kanakadas deep devotion to all other disciples, because they are envious of him. So similarly, Krishna is everywhere. He knows everything. So for him, there is nothing for us to reveal. So in the text 47, Chitraketu Maharaj is saying that is the creator, maintainer, and annihilator. But persons who are too materialistic, so they don't have the eyes to see that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, and they cannot understand Krishna's real position. So therefore, they conclude that cosmic manifestation is independent of your world. But Krishna is full in 6 appearances. And Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport that so people who don't believe in the Supreme Lord, so they think that this cosmic manifestation appeared or created by chance, or by the combination of some chemicals, like a Big Bang theory, so there is a great explosion and this universe manifested, like that. Why? Because they are too materialistic. So they cannot able to see the Krishna's hand in the cosmic manifestation. But here Chitraketu Maharaj is saying that he is the creator, Sakala Jagat, all the cosmic manifestation, or Sthiti, Laya, and Udaya, like the creation, maintenance, and annihilation. So they're all performed by or done by the Krishna's energies, or Krishna's hand is there. So that's why Lord Brahma in his Brahma Samhita prayer says that Sarva Karana Karan. So he's the cause of all causes. But who can see that? Only the persons whose eyes are filled with devotion. So Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochana Santa Sadaiva Hrudesh Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundaram Achintya Guna Swarupam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhaja. Like whoever eyes are filled with prema, love to the Supreme Lord, so who are in deep devotion, so they can able to see Krishna's hand everywhere. So not the people who are engrossed to materialistic. So that's why Krishna says Bhaktyamam Abhijanti. So he can only be understood by the devotees who follow the process of bhakti. And also Krishna here is mentioned that is in full in 6 appellations. It's mentioned as Bhagavate. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead who has full with 6 appearances. So this is a definition of the Supreme Lord. That's given by Parasramani, like Aishwaryasya Samagrasya Viryasya Yasasya Sriya Gnana Vairagyasya Chaiva Sannam Bhaga iti Gnaga, like that, The Supreme Lord has all riches, all wealth, all strength, all influence, beauty, education, knowledge in full, and also renunciation. So the person who has all these things in full is called Supreme Lord. And Krishna exhibited all these appellations when he appeared 5,000 years ago. So that's why Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then text 48, Chitraketu Maharaj is saying that after you endeavor that Lord Brahma, Indra, and other directors of the cosmic manifestation become occupied with their activities. So we see in this sloka that all the demigods, including Lord Brahma or Indra, Vishwasvijaha, so the directors of the cosmic creation, they are created by the Supreme Lord. So after the universe is created by Lord Vishnu, and once the Karmadaksa Vishnu is entered as Garbhodaya Vishnu into the each and every universe, and from Garbhodaksa Vishnu, the Lord Brahma comes, and there the creation starts. So even not only that, all the primary elements that are required for Lord Brahma to create, it's like Panchabhutas, senses, sense objects, all those things are created by Lord Vishnu. So that's why he's called as the primary creator. And Lord Brahma is the secondary creator. So Lord Brahma uses all these primary elements that are created by Lord Vishnu, and then he performs the creations, like all the living entities who should get what body, and in which planet they should reside, like that, based on their karmana daiva netrena. And also we see that Supreme Lord so powerful, like he holds all the universes on his head like seeds of mustard, so who has thousands of fruits. So Chitraketu Maharaj is offering these beautiful prayers to Lord Sankrishna. And from here, so we will hear like Lord Sankrishna enlightening Chitraketu Maharaj. So in the 49th sloka, so we see that Sukadeva Goswami is continuing to Maharaj Parikshit, saying that the Supreme Lord Ananta Deva, so he became very much pleased with the prayers offered by Chitraketu. And then he started replying. So he became very much pleased. Pritaha. So in the text 50, so Lord Anantadeva, Sankrishna is replying, saying that, O King, as a result of your having accepted the instructions spoken about me by the great sages Narada and Ingira, you became completely aware of the transcendental knowledge. And now you are educated in the spiritual knowledge, so that's why you have seen me face to face. So we see in this sloka what one should do so that one can be able to get the darshan of the Supreme Lord. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport that the perfection of life is to be spiritually educated. So we should spiritually we should be educated, transcendental knowledge. And when one is in perfect knowledge, then they can develop the love for the Supreme Lord through the association of the devotees. So here Auchitraketu Maharaj developed the love towards the Supreme Lord through the association of Narada Muni and Angira. So then they can be able to see Krishna face to face. So here, like Chitraketu Maharaj is saying Lord Sankrishna face to face. But when one is not purified, so then through their material contaminated senses, so they will not be able to see Krishna. And not only that, they will not be able to see, understand the potency of his holy name or his qualities, pastimes, like that. So it's mentioned like Ata Sri Krishna Namadi na bhavet grahyam indriyai. Like it says that no one can understand the transcendental nature of the name and form, quality and pastimes of the Supreme Lord Krishna with the materially contaminated senses. So only way is to purify our senses. So the way to purify is Sevanmotihi Jihvadu Swayam Eva Spurate Adaha. Like we have to engage our senses in the service of the Supreme Lord. So in that way, the senses gets purified, and then we can be able to understand the potency of the holy name and all like that. So that we have to do under the direction of the a bona fide spiritual master. Like here, how Chitraketu Maharaj is followed the instructions of Narada Muni. So then, so one will be purified, samsiddhaha. Then they'll become perfected, and they will be qualified to see the Supreme Lord. So that can happen through the association of the devotees. Like we see this in the life of all the great personalities, in the great devotees. Like even in Narada Muni's, if we see in his previous life, so he is the son of a maid servant. But by the association of these Bhakti Vedantas who resided at his place during one of the Chaturmasa, so through their association and taking their remnants with their permission and listening from them, so Narada Muni perfected that life, and then in the next life he received the great spiritual body. So through the association of the devotees, one can be able to see the Krishna. So that's why even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentions that so he claims himself as the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the Supreme Lord. Like Gopi Bhartar Padakamalayur Dasa Dasana Das, like that. So he's showing through his own example, so how to progress in the path of bhakti. To serve the Supreme, the devotees of the Supreme Lord, take their association and then get inspiration from them, and then we can develop the love of Godhead. Then we can able to go back to Godhead and be able to see Krishna. So in the next sloka, Lord Sankrishna or Ananta Devi is saying that all the living entities, either moving or non-moving, they're expansions of the Supreme Lord. So I'm separate from me. So I am the super soul of all living beings who exist because I manifest them. Not only that, I am the form of transcendental vibrations, like Omkara, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, like that. And I am the absolute truth. And these two forms of mine, namely the transcendental sound and the spiritual form of the deity, they are eternal forms. They are not material. And Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport that so this is the gradual progress in the path of bhakti. Like initially Chitraketu Maharaj got the association of these great wonderful devotees Narada Muni and Angira. And Narada Muni instructed with the mantra to practice the path of bhakti. And now because of that, Chitraketu Maharaj is able to see Krishna. So Prabhupada mentioned that this is step-by-step advancement. Like Adav Shraddha, Tato Sadhu Sangha, Ata Bhajana Kriya, like that. Initially one may have little faith, or sometimes that faith could be raised or created by the association of the devotees. And through that faith, one will take the association of the devotees and then inspired from them. So they will take up the process of the chanting of this Hare Krishna mantra prescribed in Kali Yuga. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then Anardhani Vritti. Like, through that, all our unwanted habits or unwanted things, desires will be cleansed. And slowly like that, so one develops the love for Krishna. So when one comes to that stage, then they could be able to see Krishna every moment. So Prabhupada mentions that the key is to follow the instructions of the spiritual master all the time. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. Like, following the instructions of the spiritual master, then one will be able to purify it. Then the Krishna will give the necessary intelligence. So dadami buddhi yogam. So how Chitraketu Maharaj was first instructed by Narada Muni and then slowly got progressed in the path of bhakti. So similarly, Prabhupada mentions that is the step-by-step process. And then Prabhupada mentions that the essence of the knowledge is two kinds. So one is material and one is spiritual. So the spiritual is the real. So the real tattva. So that is the absolute truth. Of course, absolute truth is realized by in three ways, like Paramatma and Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan, like Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti, Shabdeti. And the other one is the temporary things, the material things, like, so those are all the actions and reactions, like the karma. So of course, karma means the good activities, and vikarma means the bad activity, like that. So those two are the things Prabhupada mentions in the purport. And the other point Prabhupada mentions is in the purport is all the living entities, either moving or non-moving. So they are also coming from Krishna, Sarva Bhutana. So that's why in Bhagavad Gita, we see Krishna is mentioned as the Aham Bija Pradha Pita, like that. He's the seed-giving father. And not only that, all the primary elements, the material elements also created by Krishna, like Bhumi, Rapo, Analo, Vayu, like that. So all the material elements. So everything is coming from Krishna. So in the text 52, Lord Anantadevi is mentioning to Chitraketu Maharaj that so in this material world, so the conditioned soul, he accepts as consisting of enjoyable resources. So that's why he expands to thinking that he is the enjoyer of the material world. And similarly, the material world also expands in the living entity as the source of enjoyment. So they both expand. And Prabhupada mentions that both the material world, lokam, are the living entities, atmana. So they both are energies of the Supreme Lord. Of course, one is Bahya Shakti and another is Tatastha Shakti. And Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna mentions that everything is emanating from him. So Maya Tatam Idam Sarvam Jagata Vyaktamurtina. Like, he is basically entire universe is pervaded by his unmanifested form. But the living entities, they wrongly consider that all the physical elements that are created by the Supreme Lord Krishna for their enjoyment. But either living entities or the material world, they both are not independent. So they are dependent on Krishna. So even the material nature also works under the direction of the Supreme Lord. So Maya Dhyakshana Prakruti, Suyate Sachara Acharam, like that. And in the text 53 to 54, Lord Sankarsana is mentioning that how a person in a deep sleep, he dreams himself and he sees many objects like mountain, rivers, and sometimes they can see the entire universe, even though they are very far away. So sometimes when they are awakened from the dream, so they also sees that he is a human form, and he identifies himself with the various conditioning, like that, he's a belongs to some country, some family, like that. And all the condition of deep sleep, dreaming, wakefulness are energies of the Supreme Lord. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport that so either this deep sleep or awakefulness or the dreaming, they're all various states of the conditions like. So when one is in dreaming state, susapta, so they may be seeing so the entire universe, Vishwam, or many other objects which are far away. Similarly, when they are awakened, so they're also kind of dreaming. So what kind of things they're dreaming? So they think that, they are this body, they belongs to a particular country or community, society. So they are the owners of some proprietaries, properties like bank balance like that. Because it is due to the contact with the material world. So that's why Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Singh saying that, so why are you carried away by the waves of this illusion energy in various phases like that, either dreaming or wakefulness, because they are all creations of Maya. So, and that's why he stresses that our only duty is to remember Krishna, the Supreme Director. So this Taram like that. And they distressed that in Padma Purana, so one should always remember Krishna. Smartavyam Satatam Vishnu. And in the other way, the negative way, one should not forget Krishna. So Vismratavyam na jatujit, like that. So one should always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna, like that. That is the duty of the conditioned living entity in this material world. And the last sloka for today, text 55. Lord Sankarshana Anantadev is mentioning that know me to be the Supreme Brahman, the all-pervading super soul, through whom the sleeping living entity can understand his dreaming condition and his happiness beyond the activities of the material senses. So I am the cause of the activities of the sleeping living being. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport that, so when the conditioned living entity, they are free from this false ego, and then he can be able to understand the superior position of the Supreme Lord, so the Supreme Brahman. So then they could understand that they are the part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. So at that time, all their material senses are purified, and then they can be their love for Krishna is developed, and then they can be able to see Krishna and they can go back home, back to Godhead. So that is the stress Prabhupada mentions. The conditioned living entity in this material world should take up this process of Krishna consciousness and be perfect in this life and go back home, back to Godhead. So I'll pause it here. Thank you all for giving this opportunity. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you all. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.